Hi everyone, back up on here again. I'm gonna tell you my life story. Apparently I didn't finish it all, but I can continue from off my knowledge, and if it seems to be a lot, I'll stop and have more videos to continue my life story. It just feels like every time I explain my life story, people seem to understand me better as an individual and notice my characteristics and not judge me of my physical appearance. I respond slow because my brain goes 100 miles an hour. I'm seven, maybe 10, 20, 100 steps ahead of everybody, I feel like. But then when I want to start to physically start with the first step, I choke up. I can't remember some things right then and there, but certain words will trigger me to remember them like 3 days later, or a week later, or a month later. I repeat conversations that have already happened. It's not because I'm crazy, it's because I'm analyzing, and I look for patterns in my head, not on purpose, it just happens. But I was afraid, thought I was losing my mind, going stir crazy, wondering what's going on. But it's actually my ADHD ability, not a disorder, because they don't talk about the good side of ADHD or all these other disorders that we have. I can't tell you all the benefits, but ADHD is my main one. I ignored all the rest of the disorders. I just focus on that ADHD. It's like a weapon to me. I'm like my own weapon. My brain is. I consider it like a sniper rifle because I can block everything out. And I can talk 100 miles an hour because I'm so passionate about what I'm talking about. I only find things that are meaningful and purposeful. I don't like to just go and do random things. I'm kind of antisocial, but not antisocial. I see the world different. But anyways, like I said, there I go. I forgot what I was going through, even though I smoke just to process everything. I made like a couple videos before this one about smoking from the beginning. I've never smoked it before each video, so this is me, stoned, and it's just the way I can function. I don't smoke to be high or stupid because I'm not smoking to be high. It makes me more highly intelligent because I can actually have a clearer mindset on slowing my process down and my emotions and figure things out and feel good at the same time. So there's a benefit to that. So here we go. My life story starts out with like a little poem. I wrote this a while ago. I've been wanting to share it with everybody, with the world. I always have visions in my mind all the time of what I want to do and what I feel like I should be doing with myself and explore others, because it seems like we all don't live long. So here's my story. A year from now, I can bow in front of a crowd, because I'll have everyone say wow. Due to pain, emotional pain, let me explain what I'm about to say. From year one, I was having fun. My mom and dad are my number ones. That's when life was starting to be fun. From 1 to 5, mom and dad started to fight every day. And that's from what I've seen. It might not have been every time, but in my eyes, that's all I've seen. It was the beginning to my innocent mind, then exposed to things that altered my mind, to rebellious and hatred started creeping in my mind. thinking every day at a young age, violence started hitting, kicking, biting, spitting was how I expressed how I feel at that age of 6. Obviously younger too, but it's when as far as I can remember. I was considered sick with a mental disease due to what was exposed to me. I was not okay. It hurts that other adults, like teachers, could not see what was really going on with me. Though I heard they could not handle me, I was put on psych meds that was just hurting my mindset towards life. Life changed dramatically at 8. But before I start talking about that, just want to clarify, when I was younger, I went to this school in Rochester. I had behavioral problems growing up as a kid. My mom didn't know what was wrong with me. The teachers noticed I wasn't sitting still in class, so they forced my mom to tell her I gotta go see a therapist and put me on some type of meds, and then see how I come back and when I get back to class, back to school the next day or so. And there's times where I've been on Adderall, Ritalin, Risperdal, Depakote, everything you can think of that shouldn't be given to a child. I can't even totally remember most of my childhood. All I can remember is trauma and negative. I remember bits and pieces here and there when it comes to me, but it's not often. Only certain words trigger certain memories, certain things in my life that I look around and see, triggers images in my mind to calm my anxiousness and my anxiety down. But the schools never cared. I always came back to this class, drooling, sleeping in class. It wasn't enough. I remember there's times where I've gotten a couple, start flipping chairs, throwing things, not caring. But I was just I was learning the same stuff all the time. 5th grade work all the way up until I was basically into high school. The only time I excelled, I took meds, basically, the only time I excelled was when they took me all of my meds when I was 13. Because it damaged my thyroid and my liver. Half of my liver almost killed me. I was at 8 or 9, about 8. I noticed I was fat. People was picking on me. I was getting bullied. I was going through a lot. Kids would pick on me for being fat. Even my sister, my family, most of my family. I just felt very different. I knew I was different. Every time I spoke up about something wrong, I was told I was wrong, even though I felt right, and I knew I was right in some of it, even though I was just a child. I've always had people speak for me. Growing up, just because I was always told wrong, I could never believe, I couldn't even trust myself. I don't even know how to communicate. When somebody asked me something, I shut down because I don't know the words. And what happened was I would throw a fit. I would get so mad because my brain just overloaded. They asked me a question, and right then and there, I know the answer. It's there. It's right there. And I just, I explode. But over time, I've grown to learn a lot about myself, been through a lot. It's a lot to deal with as a kid. But I know it wasn't my mom's fault, it wasn't my parents' fault. It was really the school's fault. It was the system's fault that I was forced on these meds when I could have just been a kid. I literally could have just been a kid the whole time. I don't remember a lot of stuff. I just want to live. Just been wiped. But anyways, here's the rest of my story. Life changed dramatically at 8. This is what I wrote. Please bear with me. This was just all thoughts. There's no editing to my life story. My whole life has been chaotic from the beginning, apparently. I lost my childhood to someone that was fucking awful. It started when my mom dated this guy. I was this special kid, but now I became extra special. Every day I came home from school, he was always in the mood. Just to let you know, my mom worked late hours to support me and my sister. Which, when I was 4 years younger, my sister was 4 years younger than me at the time. He took advantage of me. I would not scream because I could not breathe. Every day he took another chunk out of my mind. If you can't handle these details of my experience, you may leave or stop listening. I wrote stop reading. I was going to write a book, but I'm not. It's hard to get down on paper sometimes because I get distracted. Now, I'm about to get deep into detail about what he did to me. I'm about to give everybody a moment. If you want to clock out now. This is my life. What I've been through. What I've experienced. I don't want no fucking sympathy. I don't want nothing. This person's apparently in prison. I don't need to discuss. I never had justice. Let's just put it that way. I never had fucking justice. But anyways, here we go. So every day I came home from school, he told me to get naked. He would bend me over on the couch, doggy. Fuck me raw. He also fucked me on the kitchen table. He made me suck his dick and choked. Then he'd tell me to swallow. He showed me how to masturbate. Watch pornos at a young age. One time, it was me and him, and we took a road trip to the res. First time I didn't smell weed, but it smelled like blueberry muffins. He was smoking something, I didn't know what it was. He offered, I didn't want to, and he kind of persuaded me to smoke, so I hit it, felt fine, and next thing you know, he's making me give him fucking roadhead on the way to the res, down the highway. So, at the age of 9, I smoked weed for the first time. He made me do things with my sister. I'm sorry that put my sister in this, but this is my life, and everything needs to come to light. I feel like I have not been heard. I never told my story. Everybody just sees what I physically go through on a day-to-day basis. So, here I go again. While he watched and played with himself. After that, he told us to get in the tub. He peed on us both and told us to wash up. He was done. After that, I told my sister to go to her friends after school and play. I took the heat that next day. It was me and him up to the age of 9. When my mom and him had a fallout, he hit my mom. My life was just a mess. I was getting out of control with my behavior due to trauma that had happened. He threatened to kill me and my family if I was to say anything about what happened or done, or that has done to me and my sister. Thank God the abuse was over. It happened for a whole year and a half. I can't remember too much, but it was too long to remember. I try not to, but it's my past and what made me who I am today. I started tantrums that caused me to black out. I started to threaten to kill myself. I tried hanging myself with a belt. I also tried to drown myself in the tub by holding my head underwater. Then I tried to slit my wrist. All these attempts I have failed. During these multiple attempts, I was being bullied by kids that didn't know what was going on or what I was going through. I started acting out. I acted out to the point my mom could not handle me. Just have to say my behaviors ended up being around November to December. I would end up blacking out and trying to kill myself, or just got wild, is what the adults would say then. Even though I was reaching for help, screaming from the inside as a kid, wanting to talk to my mom 100 times, but always ignored. I didn't want to see no therapist. I never wanted to see none of them. I just wanted to talk to my mom. Just wanted to tell my mom, but I've been ignored. I'm sorry for my father. Made me distant from all men after that incident. It killed my relationship with my dad. And I'm still fighting to this day to build whatever I have left with my dad. We're all not getting older or younger. So I love everybody. I'm not perfect. Never was. Nobody else is, I know. Nobody has to tell me anything. Because I feel like I just know it all. And that's what people say, because that's how I talk, if I know it all. But I don't. I am impulsive because of my disorder. I became a wild child. I started being locked up due to my behavior. I would be locked up in a psych ward with other kids with mental health issues as myself. I've been in a straitjacket because I want to talk to my mom, but she had to leave. So I threw a fit. If you remember, I threw such a huge fit. They grabbed me and put me in the straitjacket and tied me down on a stretcher and stuck a needle in my arm and then tossed me in this padded room. I fell asleep and then woke up calm the next day. Every year, I ended up creating a pattern that had me missing out on Thanksgiving and Christmas. I did not get any toys or special treatment due to the hospital psych unit policy. My mom had gifts for me when I got out. By then, it was January when I got my Christmas gifts. Later on, when I got a little bit older, gifts were something I did not want. I started to appreciate family and friends, just being there. But as I got older, I started hating the holidays. I was hating everything in life. Due to the trauma of everything, it gave me PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder at a young age. They also diagnosed me with ADHD, alternate deficit hypertension disorder. And the psych doctors prescribed me Adderall, Ritalin, Risperdal, Seroquel, and Depakote, and much more other psych meds as well. And the medication affected me physically and mentally. I was not capable to control my emotions, could not understand what was right and wrong. What got me through all was a lot of therapy. Unfortunately, my mom spoke for me instead of letting me speak. Then when the therapist would want to talk alone, I did not speak. I would listen. I was listening and mostly nodding my head. Now during therapy time, I still did not talk about what this pedophile did to me. Nor did I even speak about it due to the threat he made. My mom spoke for me every time. I was asked a question. Let's just say my mother advocated a lot for me. A lot. She really did. I mean, I wish my mom was still here. My mom's gone. She passed a couple years ago. Not a moment in a day or a second goes by, I don't think about her. Everything I do reminds me of her. But that just makes me want to be better, and it makes me grow and remember what she taught me, and besides what she was doing, that was thinking that was the best interest for me. But she was doing the best interest for what the system was wanting her to do to me. So as time went on, I started to grow as an individual. I was 17 years old when I started my addiction cycle. I became a pot smoker at first. That was for a little while. I met a woman, girl, whatever, that I grew up with that had an addiction already. I didn't know anything about the drugs she was doing. I did not know about hardcore drugs. She played a part in my addiction. Not just her, but my mental health as well. My mom let her stay due to her being in a fire that happened. She had kids. No need to talk about that, but it led me leaving with her. I was still going to high school. Her and I was catching up where we left off. My mom was best friends with her mom. Anybody knew, like, life's not easy for anybody. Mental health is a struggle. And I'm gonna let you know, nobody put a gun to my mouth. Nobody told me to take any drugs. I made all the decisions on my own. It was my own choice, not hers. It was mine. I've taken off with accountability and responsibility for my actions of what I've done. Some of us can't get out of it, and some of us can. I keep praying for the ones that are still fighting. I hope. But my mom kicked her out, so I left with her. It was like 11 p.m. when she kicked her out. Kicked her out. I left with her. We walked from Wolcott to we were heading to Rochester. We walked from Wolcott, I want to say, down 104, going towards Sodus. Yeah, that's how far we were. But that was it that I wrote. And the rest of my life story. I've been through a lot. I've been working on and off. I can hold a job. I just get bored. I've experienced a lot. I've seen enough. I want to say a couple years ago, before my mom passed, I relapsed. I didn't know how to handle the news that my mom gave me. I lost all sight of my coping skills. Just shocked. No support. Alone. Hard to reach out for help. I've been through it. I went to rehab in PA, and then that was the first time I went through a 30-day. I got help there. It was more grieving than it was I did more grieving than I did for the addiction part, but I just grabbed what little coping skills I can use as quickly as possible when I get thrown back out on the street and I had to go back to work. I had to focus. I went to Dominican Republic at one point in my life, opened my eyes to what was out there, to what's here in the United States. Things are wacky here. Things don't make no sense. That's for sure. It's frustrating here. But this is where my family is. This is where all my friends and foes are. You know, don't get along with everybody. Everybody don't like me. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I accepted that everybody has an opinion. But it will not stop me or change or of who I am or any of my characteristics. I will keep deflecting all of the negativities as much as I can because I am only human. So for that, I just want to reread my last little thing. Oh, where is it? I wrote this speech a hot moment ago. Probably a couple days ago I posted it, probably yesterday, but I edited it. As always, good evening, my friends. My name is Michael. I'm here to speak from the heart. I don't want this to sound like a rant. I want you to hear me as a man who has lived, learned, and seen the truth of what's happening in our country. The problem is our system is broken. We are told money is our lifeline, but really it controls us. The Federal Reserve and central banks hold more power than our elected leaders. We are divided, not united. Our children are distracted by screens instead of being taught real-life skills, writing letters, learning trades, and connecting as human beings. Technology is raising them when it should be us. Corporations are poisoning our food and water. Walk into any store and you will see products full of chemicals, artificial dyes, sugars, and steroids in our meat. These aren't the foods nature intended for us. Even our airwaves and towers flood us with radiation and noise that weaken our health and our spirits. We are being drained, not lifted up. But here's the truth. We don't have to live this way. We can build something better. We can go back to the basics. Strong families, healthy food, real education, and communities that support each other. We can choose to support small businesses and farmers instead of giant corporations. We can demand safer food and cleaner air. We can raise our children to think, to create, and to live with purpose, not just to consume. The call to action is, I'm not a politician. I'm not a scientist. I'm a man with ADHD who has learned to use it as a strength, a way to see patterns, to ask the right questions, and to trust my intuition. I've seen enough to know this. What's happening is wrong, and it won't change unless we make it change. So I ask you to take a stand, speak up, boycott what harms us, support what heals us, start in communities one at a time. That's how we take back our nation. We were born free. We were not born with money. We were not meant to be controlled by money, corporations, or corruption. Change does not start with them. It starts with us, with you, with me, with all of us, standing together. So tonight, I ask you, let's rise, let's unite, let's fight for our children, for our health, and for the future we deserve. Because it only takes one voice to spark a movement, and together we can change the world. And let me let you know that I came up with this a day later, like a little quote in my head. Even the devil will give you what you want. Thank you.